Preparing to answer interview questions. How to conquer those tough questions and get hired. Presented by Chaffey College Career Center. One of the most important tasks to complete prior to an interview is to prepare. The more you prepare, the better you will be able to respond to questions and the less anxiety and nerves you will feel during the interview. How do you prepare? Here are some tips. Be sure to review the job description and understand the required desired skills and abilities. Practice questions a couple of days before the interview. Conduct mock interviews with a friend or someone you have networked with or your mentor. Think of examples of positive experiences with customers, clients, coworkers, as well as negative examples and how you effectively handled these situations. Want additional tips? Be sure to attend our How to Master the Interview workshop in the Career Center or watch the YouTube video on Chaffey Connect as well. You can also learn how to prepare answers by going to www.cacareercafe.com/prepare/interview for additional resources. There are several types of questions employers typically ask during interviews. We are first going to look at getting to know you questions. Here are some examples of getting to know you questions. Tell me about yourself. What is your greatest strength? What is your greatest weakness? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What would your current or last boss say about you? What has been your most significant achievement? Let's take a look at Tell Me About Yourself. When answering this question, you should focus on education and past work experiences and how those experiences are relevant to the position you are interviewing for. Be sure to highlight the most relevant skills and abilities that have prepared you for the position. For the next question, what is your greatest strength? You should focus on something that is a required or desired skill or ability. Provide an example of how you have produced results and have 3 strengths prepared for the day of the interview. For example, a good answer for an office position could be, my greatest strength is my ability to reorganize filing systems. For example, in my last position, my employer had difficulty finding client files because they were filed by date instead of by the client's name. I reorganized all of the files by name, which increased the efficiency to finding the correct file by 100%. Let's now look at what your greatest weakness is. To prepare for this question, you should prepare a weakness that is related to the position you're applying for. Be prepared to talk about how you are improving, what steps you are taking to grow, and conquer your weakness. Also, you should have at least 2 weaknesses prepared for the day of the interview. Here are some additional questions on getting to know you. How should you prepare to answer, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Think about development within the company, or how you can grow in the position. For example, a good answer could be, in 5 years, I see myself working in a more direct leadership capacity within the company. My leadership skills are very strong, and I understand how to effectively manage labor. I consistently model professional behaviors by working closely with my colleagues and can quickly assess, research, and solve problems. How about the next question? How would you prepare for what would your current or last boss say about you? We would suggest to focus on something that is a required desired skill or ability for the position, to provide a positive example of how you have produced results, and be prepared to share at least 3 types of examples on the day of the interview. The last example for a question for getting to know you questions is, what has been your most significant achievement? For this question, make sure it is relevant to the position. Talk about how you produced results and can do the same thing in the new position, and what skills did you use to accomplish this goal? Let's move to questions about the job and company. Interviewers often ask questions about the specific job and company to see how much you know or how much research you put into your interview. Here are some of the questions you might be asked. Why are you the best candidate for this position? What do you know about this company? How has your education prepared you for your career? Why do you want to work here? Why do you want this position? For all of these questions, it would be a good idea to show the employer that you have completed research about the company and position. How do you do this? You can talk about the company's mission statement and how your personal philosophies or values match that of the company's. To prove to the employer that you understand the position, you should talk about examples of how you meet the minimum and desired qualifications that were listed on the job posting. Be sure to talk about your skills that directly relate to the required knowledge and abilities. Another type of question you may be asked during an interview is directly related to your skills. Here are some examples of skills questions. Describe effective communication. How do you stay organized? What is your leadership style? How do you motivate yourself and your coworkers? How do you remain flexible and open to change? The best way to answer these types of questions is to provide specific examples of how you have used these skills and to provide examples of experiences that are related to the position. For example, if you are applying for a customer service position and you are asked to describe effective communication, it would be a good idea to provide an example of how you exercise that effective communication with a customer. Now let's look at behavioral questions. These are typically the hardest questions, but can be very simple if following a specific method to answering the question. Have you heard of the STAR technique? It is important to provide your answer using STAR because you are able to organize your behaviors and experiences in a way that proves to employers that you can produce desired results. STAR, S-T-A-R, stands for S, situation, T, task, A, action, and R, results. For S, situation, you want to identify the situation, issue, or problem. T, task, be sure to talk about the specific task you needed to complete. For A, or action, you need to detail the specific action. What did you do and how did you do it? And then lastly, for R, you will explain the results. What happened as a result of your action? So here are some behavioral questions. How would you handle a difficult customer? Describe a time when you were faced with a stressful situation that demonstrated your prioritization skills. Provide an example of when you had conflict with a coworker and how you would resolve the issue. Let's practice using the STAR technique and answer, how would you handle a difficult customer? In my past experiences, I have worked with a difficult customer frequently and have found the best way to help the customer is to try to communicate clearly and effectively. For example, as a cashier at JCPenney, I had a customer come to my station who immediately demanded to see a manager. I let the customer know that I would be happy to contact a manager, but that in the meantime, I can try and assist him with his concerns. He expressed that he had called about a product and was told that the item would be on hold, but when he got to the store, he could not find it. I asked the customer for information about who he spoke to and what the item was. I called over to the team member to inquire about the item and asked where the item may be. I was able to locate the product and explain to the customer that I found the item, that I would go get it for him from customer service and bring it back. He was pleased that I found the item and he left the store happy with his purchase. Common questions you might also be asked during an interview are related to working on teams. Employers want to know that you are going to fit into the company culture, so it is important to be prepared to answer questions such as, are you a team player? Tell me about a time when you were in charge or a team and how you delegated work. What does it mean to be part of a team? Have you ever had a conflict with a boss? How was it resolved? The best way to answer these questions is to provide examples of times when you were on a team and what results were produced. Remember to never badmouth previous employers or team members, and instead focus on what makes you a strong team member. The last example of the types of questions to prepare for during an interview are stress questions. The purpose of these questions is just to see how you respond. Typical questions may be, why did you leave your last position? How do you deal with high stress situations? How do you answer, why did you leave your last position? Well, it may depend on the circumstances. However, here are some tips. Never lie about the reason. Be sure to keep focused on what you learned from the past and bring back to why you are interviewing for the current position. Example, my boss and I had very different ideas about what our departments should be focusing on, and it soon became clear that I'd be happier in a new role like this one. How do you deal with high stress situations? Some situations would be to talk about how you prioritize your workflow and discuss how you are able to remain calm. Here is an example. To help me remain calm and focus on my work, I prioritize my tasks, always putting customers first. If needed, I will delegate smaller tasks to other employees and reassess what is the most important task to be completed. And now you're hired. At least that is what we hope you hear after your interview. Remember, the more you prepare, the better you will be at answering questions during your interview. Do you need more help? You're welcome to view this video again, attend an interview skills workshop, or come into the Career Center to see when you can meet with a success guide or a career counselor. Thank you for viewing our video, and we look forward to seeing you in the Career Center.